I have ace queen off, and my opponent, who is recreational, open raises from the cutoff. I will always 3-bet with my hand against him because he will call with a variety of hands that I dominate. He will call with many worse ace-x than mine. And the flop is very nice. It's ace-9-7 rainbow. I will continue. I will c-bet, definitely. He will continue with many hands. Actually, some of the hands that he will continue with are 9x, which have me beat on this turn, but there are also many hands that he will pay me that I have beat, so I will definitely continue. Again, the sizing that I use is a sizing to set up a river jam. If he solves, it will be sick. He just calls though, and now another 9 comes on the river, so it's even more unlikely that I'm beat, but the most possible scenario was that he had a worse ace than mine, so when a 9 comes on the river, I split with all those hands, has 9s full of aces. Still, I think the only move here is to shove. I don't expect to win very often in this river, but he's a recreational, so you never know. Hello everyone, I'm Nick, and this is a video for CGC, which is a CFP program that if you want you can learn more about it at cgcpoker.com. Today I'm gonna review a video of myself playing at regular tables at 500 and 200 no limit. The tables on your right with the brown color are 500 and the tables on your left are 200 no limit. And right from the start we have the first spot on the top left table with the 10-8 of clubs. The button open raised and I'm on the big blind. With my hand I will most frequently 3-bet, but this time I decided to just call. So we see a flop and it's the king 9-7 with 2 hearts and a spade. I check and he bets. So now my decision is to either call or raise. I prefer just calling without a backdoor flush draw, at least. Like if the 7 was the 7 of clubs, I would much rather like to 3-bet. I call and now this is a brick, the 3 of diamonds. So if my opponent continues betting, I expect him to use an overbet. And if he does that, I will not be able to continue. He doesn't bet though, he checks. So when he checks on this turn, I feel pretty confident that he's not strong. And I will definitely be bluffing. I use an overbet as my sizing. And he snap folds. Given the line that he took on the turn, I feel that most of the times he will be folding against a river bet. Now we also have a hand. I have queens. I'm under the gun. I open raise and the button calls, who is recreational. On this flop, I will mostly check. He checks back pretty quickly. Now the turn is the 2 of diamonds. There's a flush on board, but his range is very wide, so I don't feel like I should be too worried about it. I bet half pot, actually a little less. And he calls. So when he calls on the jack of clubs on this river, I feel I will most of the times have the best hand, so I will value bet again. He doesn't call, he folds. With my 6-7 of clubs, I will call and see a flop 4 ways. I'm out of position. I flop bottom pair with no kicker and with no backdoor flush draw, just a backdoor straight draw. I will not continue. My opponent bet half pot and he actually has only 32 blinds more behind, so it's not worth it. Now I have pocket fours from the cutoff on the top right table. Under the gun player open raised and MP player, the player from middle position, called, who is recreational. So given that there's also a player on the big blind who is not exactly a regular, he's kind of a recreational, I feel that I can call more often than not, even though I'm from the cutoff, so I invite the button and the small blind players to squeeze more frequently. Still, I called, and we go four ways to see a flop. I'm in position and I flop bottom set, so I have a very strong hand. They all check, and now I'm in position in a flop with two recreationals with a very strong hand, so I definitely want to bet. I have no idea about the sizing because it's a multi-way spot and I'm not really too familiar with those. I bet around half pot. Actually, bet exactly half pot. The player from the big blind calls pretty quickly. Under the gun player calls as well. And we see a turn, which is the six of spades. And now there's a straight on board. Actually, there was already, but there's another straight on board. I'm not too worried about it. I see that there are two flush draws as well, so there are many hands that my opponents will want to continue with. And I will definitely continue betting. I expect them, especially the recreational, to also continue with some hands that have 0% equity against my hand, like ace 10 with no flush draw. I bet around 75%. Unfortunately, they both folded, so I took it down. Now I'm gonna put the video back a bit so I can see the 10-9 of clubs hand from the beginning. On the bottom right table, I open raise from the button, my opponent 3 bets from the small blind, I call, and I flop flush draw and a gut shot. I ran pretty well actually on this video. My opponent bets 50%. I decided to just call and realize my equity. And I turn a flush. I expect him to check very often here. And when he does, I think I want to bet with my hand and use a small sizing. The reason for that is that I just want to set up a river jam. And if I bet like 15 blinds, I will have 65 behind, and if he calls, the pot on the river will be a little over 75 blinds, so my jam will be less than pot. I bet 15 blinds and he folds pretty quickly. Again, he probably didn't have much. No action for now. With my king 8 off, I open raise from the small blind. My opponent 3 bets, so I will just fold my hand. I have queen 4 and 2 opponents limp. I'm at the big blind. I check my option. I flop top pair. And we all check. Now the turn is a king. I will check again. And on this river, I think I want to bet small, just to probably get called from a fourth pair or third pair or something. It doesn't happen. Now I have ace queen off, and my opponent, who is recreational, open raises from the cutoff. I will always 3-bet with my hand against him because he will call with a variety of hands that I dominate. He will call with many worse ace-x than mine. And the flop is very nice. It's ace-9-7 rainbow. I will continue. I will c-bet, definitely. I use a small sizing. He will continue with many hands. Actually, some of the hands that he will continue with are 9x, which have me beat on this turn, but there are also many hands that he will pay me that I have beat. So I will definitely continue. Again, the sizing that I use is a sizing to set up a river jam. If he solves, it will be sick. He just calls though. And now another 9 comes on the river. So it's even more unlikely that I'm beat. But the most possible scenario was that he had a worse ace than mine. So when a 9 comes on the river, I split with all those hands. he has nines full of aces. Still, I think the only move here is to shove. I don't expect to win very often this river. But he's recreational, so you never know. He calls and he has kings, which is a hand I would never expect him to have. He didn't forbet preflop. Uh, I really didn't expect that. Um, but okay, that's a very good outcome for me. I flopped top pair. He never folded. Um, Even against recreationals, though, I was pretty shocked to see that. Like the pocket pairs I would expect him to have were tens or below that, or jacks maybe. And I don't know how often he will call three streets on that line that I took. But it was the best possible outcome. I have ace queen again, the same table, and queen 10 on the table at the left. And we flop top pair on both boards. At the left board, I think if I want to bet, I will use 75%. And on the right table, it's a range bet, 33%. Now the five of diamonds comes on the turn. My opponent checks. I can definitely continue betting. I can also check. The thing here is that on this turn, um, I will never have like 7-4 or 4-2 that are the nuts. He can have those hands, especially 7-4. But other than that, um, I will also never have like 5-3 suited, queen 3 suited, queen 5 suited. He can have those hands. So um, I'm not all that strong. My range is not all that strong against his range. So that's why I decided to check, even though my hand is very strong. And now on this river, given that I checked on the turn, I will call 100% of the times, especially with the ace of diamonds, but it doesn't really matter. I checked top pair, top kicker on the turn, so I'm calling against the bet on the river. And he has a bluff. So by checking on the turn, I kind of forced him to do that. Actually, let's see that hand again with the 10-9 of diamonds because I didn't pay attention. Okay, so the player from the cutoff limped in, who is a recreational with a very short stack. Small blind player raised to 2.5 blinds. I called with my hand, and the cutoff player called as well. And on this flop, I flopped top pair. Small blind bets a third of the pot. Don't know if it makes sense to raise. I just called. Cutoff folded. And now on the turn, the ace comes. He bets very small, so I think I always have to call here. And on this river, almost everything breaks out. He bets again very small. I have to call again. But he has an ace, so I lose this pot. It's okay though, I think. I think it was pretty standard. With my king queen off, I will call one time, just in case I hit the miracle jack. On the meantime, I have ace king of hearts. I'm on the big blind. Player from middle position raises. I will always 3-bet. My opponent calls. And now I see a flop where my strategy here will be to either check or bet 75% as my sizing. I think with my hand I can do both. Both are fine, both options are fine. In game, I think I made a very big mistake in this hand. So I decided to bet against my opponent. And the thing with ace king here is that I have two overcards and I also have a backdoor straight draw and a backdoor flush draw. So it's not exactly a bluff. He will have many worse hands that he will continue, and I get shoved on. And the thing here is that unless he has like a set or something, I'm doing okay against his range that he shoves. I'm actually ahead against a portion of his range, like flush draws. And even if he has a pair like a 10, like Jack 10 or Queen 10 or something, I'm very fine against that part of his range. I can definitely hit I have two overcards. I can hit a pair but I folded. I don't know why I did that. That's a punt. That's definitely a mistake. If I planned on folding against the raise, I should just not bet with my hand. I have plenty of showdown value. Still, very often it's very different in game than you can't always apply what you know in game, and this is a perfect example of that. Another spot is King Jack of Spades against my opponent from the small blind who calls. I'm at middle position. On this flop, I will. You can definitely use a range bet here, but my strategy here is to either check or use an overbet. And with my hand, I don't want to put an overbet on this flop, so I checked. On the turn, I checked again. Not sure about it. And on the river, when he checks again, I think he has nothing, so I put a small bet, and he folds pretty quickly. And the sevens are the last interesting hand on this video, I think. I open raise from under the gun. A big blind player is a recreational. He has 45 blinds. He 3-bets, but he 3-bets very small. I have to call always, I believe. And I continue to run very well. Flop upset. He bets half pot. No reason to do anything other than to call. If he has a strong hand, he will put it in anyways. If he bluffs, I give him an opportunity to continue. Now on this turn, he bets pot. He has less than 3 blinds behind, so I will just put him all in. He calls for the rest of his stack, and he has ace high. No draws, no nothing, so he's drawing dead. And yeah, I win this spot as well. King queen off is a 3-bet against cut-off raise. Given our stack sizes, I'm not sure if I could 3-bet even larger as my sizing. He doesn't call, so it doesn't really matter. Here I see that I lost against quads with my second pair for a very small pot. Those were there are no more hands, I think, on this video. Maybe ace king off. Again, this is a flop where you can either range bet or use a mixed strategy with an overbet. I bet small and he snap folds. Yeah, so that was it for this video. Thanks for watching, guys, and good luck at the tables.